Everyone thought the Starship deal was simple. Until humans finalized it, Ethan Miller stood at the edge of the observation deck on Nova City's starport. The lights of the docking bays reflected off his dark jacket, and he watched as starships of all shapes and sizes landed and lifted off. He had been here many times before, but today felt different. Today, humans were about to take part in their first big trade deal with the Varian League. Beside him, Clara Hughes checked the digital tablet she held. Her brow was furrowed in concentration. "Everything seems in order," she said, her voice calm but firm. "The cargo manifests are correct and the schedule for the meeting is set. But I have a feeling the Varians are expecting us to make mistakes." Ethan chuckled softly. "That's exactly why we're here. They think humans are naive. They think we don't know how to handle these deals. They'll be surprised. The Varians were a species known across several star systems for their strict rules and long histories of trade and diplomacy. They followed protocols that had not changed in hundreds of years. Their society valued structure, control, and perfection in business dealings. To them, humans were young, inexperienced, and somewhat chaotic. The human delegation arrived at the meeting hall, a large chamber that glowed with soft blue light. The walls were smooth, almost like glass, but the surface had a strange texture that shimmered when touched. The room had a long table that could expand to accommodate dozens of delegates. At the far end, a group of Varians waited, standing rigidly, their tall, thin bodies shimmering in silver uniforms. Ethan and Clara took their seats. They were joined by Maya Brooks, a human legal expert, and Leo Carter, a young communications specialist. Together, they represented humanity for this historic trade deal. Lauren Vela, the senior Varian negotiator, stepped forward. His voice was smooth and precise, carrying a tone that demanded respect. "Welcome, humans. We are pleased you have arrived to finalize the trade of the energy crystals. The deal is simple. You provide the payment, we provide the crystals. All terms have been prepared according to our standard protocols. There is no room for discussion." Ethan smiled politely. "Thank you for your welcome, Lauren. We are ready to review the terms, but we do have questions to ensure both sides benefit fully from this deal." The Varians looked at each other in surprise. "Questions?" Lauren's voice carried a hint of disbelief. "The terms are clear." "Why would there be questions?" Clara leaned forward slightly. "Even clear terms can sometimes have hidden problems. We want to make sure everything is fair and safe for both sides." The Varians hesitated. They were used to dealing with species that followed instructions without thought. Humans were different. They thought, analyzed, and looked for opportunities. This was unsettling. The discussion began calmly. Lauren and his team went through the contract line by line. Ethan and Maya listened carefully. Clara took notes on her tablet, highlighting areas where terms could be improved. At first, the Varians were confident. They assumed the humans would approve everything without question. Then Ethan spoke. "Clause 42 mentions the delivery method for the crystals. It says we must transport them in Varian containers, but it does not specify safety checks for long-range travel. We want to include a clause to ensure secure transport, especially for unstable crystals." A murmur went through the Varian delegation. Lauren frowned. "The containers have been tested for centuries. Why is this necessary?" Clara answered calmly. "Even the best containers can fail under certain conditions. We are proposing a joint safety inspection before transport. It protects both sides. If something goes wrong, neither side loses everything." The Varians were quiet. They had not expected humans to question their methods. In their experience, no species had ever done so politely and sensibly. Maya added, "Also, the payment schedule has a clause that allows late delivery penalties. We request a clarification that penalties apply only if humans fail to meet agreed terms, not due to external factors like meteor storms or technical malfunctions during travel." Lauren's thin fingers drummed against the table. The Varians exchanged looks that carried both disbelief and irritation. This was not supposed to happen. They had designed the contract to be perfect. Yet humans were finding gaps they had overlooked. Ethan smiled slightly, sensing the tension. "We mean no disrespect. We simply want a deal that is safe and fair. Humans are new to interstellar trade, yes, but we take responsibility seriously. We hope the Varians do too." Hours passed. Lines of text were reviewed, notes were taken, and adjustments were suggested. Sometimes the humans' questions caused tension. Other times, they caused admiration. Clara suggested a new way to transport the crystals that minimized energy loss. Maya discovered a loophole that could have caused problems for both sides if not corrected. Leo noticed that some of the communication protocols the Varians used could confuse human transport crews. By the end of the first day, both sides were exhausted. The humans had not only challenged the Varians' assumptions, but had also shown that they could handle complex trade matters with intelligence and fairness. Lauren leaned back in his chair, looking at Ethan. "Your species, you are clever, perhaps more clever than we expected." Ethan smiled. "Thank you. We like to think we are thorough. We don't always follow the same path others do, but we get results." As the humans left the chamber for the night, Clara whispered to Ethan, "I think we've unsettled them, but in a good way. They're realizing we aren't just here to sign papers. We're here to think." Ethan nodded. "Exactly. Tomorrow the real work begins. They may have prepared a simple deal, but we are going to make it better for both sides." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly above Nova City. Ships glided silently, carrying goods, passengers, and secrets across the galaxy. Humans had taken their first steps into the wider universe, and already they were making waves. They were clever, careful, and unafraid. They were not just participants in the interstellar trade, they were game changers. Back in their quarters, Maya reviewed the contract one last time. "Tomorrow, we finalize it," she said. "I just hope they are ready for humans." Leo laughed softly. "Ready or not, they will see what humans can do." Ethan looked out the window at the twinkling lights of distant planets. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "No one knows what we are capable of yet." Clara smiled beside him. "And that's exactly how it should be." The night passed with quiet anticipation. Nova City's starport hummed softly as ships arrived and departed. Somewhere out there, the Varians were preparing for the next day. They had expected a simple deal. What they did not know was that humans never made things simple. And in the vastness of space, that made all the difference. The next morning, the human team returned to the Varian negotiation chamber. The air was tense, but Ethan Miller felt calm. He had spent the night reviewing the contract, thinking about ways to protect humanity's interests while building trust with the Varians. Clara Hughes walked beside him, tablet in hand, eyes scanning the room for any potential issues. "They seem more alert today," she said quietly. "They know we're not here to just sign papers." Ethan nodded. "Good, that means they're paying attention. That's exactly what we want." Inside the chamber, the Varians waited, their tall forms still as rigid as the day before. Lauren Vela's silver uniform gleamed in the soft blue light, and his expression was unreadable. Some of the other Varians whispered among themselves, casting occasional glances at the humans. "Humans," Lauren began, his voice smooth but carrying a subtle edge. "It seems you have prepared further questions. We suggest you proceed quickly so we can finalize this deal." Ethan took a deep breath. "We do have questions, Lauren. But these questions are not to complicate the process. They are to make sure the deal is safe, fair, and beneficial to both sides." Clara raised her tablet. "First, regarding the transport of the energy crystals. We have suggested adding a secondary containment system in case of unexpected energy fluctuations. This will prevent any damage to the crystals or the transport ships." A senior Varian, Rivon Terrell, tilted his head slightly. "Secondary containment is unnecessary. The crystals have been transported for hundreds of years without incident." Ethan smiled politely. "We understand, but these are humans' first crystals. We need to ensure that no mistakes happen. This is for everyone's benefit." The Varians exchanged uneasy looks. They had expected humans to accept the existing protocols without question. The fact that humans were suggesting improvements was unexpected. Maya Brooks spoke next. "Clause 27 allows for inspection at departure. We propose an additional joint inspection upon arrival. This ensures both sides are satisfied, and it avoids disputes in case something goes wrong during transit." Rivon Terrell frowned. "We have no such inspections in our protocols. Your suggestion is unusual." Clara added, "Unusual, yes, but it ensures fairness. It shows trust between our species, trust that humans value highly." Ethan leaned forward slightly. "We are not here to challenge your expertise. We are here to build a partnership. If the crystals arrive safely and securely, it benefits both sides. That is our goal." The chamber fell silent. The Varians were not used to reasoning this way. Most species accepted what was offered and signed quickly. Humans, however, asked questions, suggested improvements, and proposed new ideas. Then Leo Carter, the communications specialist, spoke up. There is another point. The energy signature logs. We noticed that the Varian logs use a format that can be misread by human systems. We propose a translation protocol to avoid errors during monitoring. A murmur passed through the Varians. Translation protocol? Lauren asked. Why would it be necessary? Our logs are precise. Leo smiled. Yes, precise for your systems, but humans have different systems. We want to ensure accuracy on both sides. This will prevent mistakes and misunderstandings. Maya added, it is a small change that benefits everyone. We are not asking to alter the data, only to make it understandable across species. The Varians looked at one another. Their centuries of protocols had never included suggestions from other species. Humans were showing initiative. They were thinking not just about themselves, but about the entire process. Ethan noticed a flicker of admiration in Lauren's eyes. He didn't show it openly, but it was there. You see, Ethan said softly, humans do not just follow rules, we think ahead. We try to see the bigger picture. As the day went on, the humans continued their careful review. Clara suggested a transport route that avoided unstable star systems, reducing the risk of damage. Maya identified contractual ambiguities that could have caused conflicts. Leo proposed communication checks to ensure the crystal's energy signature could be tracked correctly during the journey. Each suggestion was polite, logical, and clearly explained. The Varians began to realize that these humans were not simple negotiators. They were thinkers, planners, and problem solvers. Rivon Terrell finally spoke, his voice quieter than before. Your species, you consider things we did not even imagine. This is unexpected, Clara smiled. We learn fast, humans are adaptable. We find solutions where others see only problems. Ethan added, our goal is not to outsmart the Varians. Our goal is to ensure both sides benefit. That is how humans work. By mid-afternoon, tension in the chamber had shifted. The Varians were no longer confident. They were careful, watching every move, listening to every word. Humans had changed the mood of the room. What had begun as a simple deal was becoming more complex, but in a constructive way. The Varians attempted to regain control by proposing faster deadlines and stricter terms. They assumed humans would panic or accept the pressure. Ethan and Clara remained calm. Rushing will not improve the deal, Ethan said. We want thorough, safe, and fair agreements. Deadlines are only useful if they do not compromise safety or fairness. Maya added, we can work efficiently without cutting corners. That benefits everyone. For the first time, some of the Varians were impressed. They whispered among themselves, realizing that humans were not only clever but also ethical. They did not exploit loopholes maliciously. They sought solutions, not just advantage. During a break, Lauren spoke quietly to Rivon Terrell. These humans, they are unpredictable, not reckless but innovative. They do not follow the same patterns as other species. This makes them difficult to negotiate with, but perhaps valuable. Rivon nodded slowly. Yes, they are clever, they think differently, we must be careful. After the break, the humans presented a new plan. Clara laid out a route for the energy crystals that minimized risk, included joint inspections, and incorporated advanced tracking. Ethan explained how this approach saved time and energy for both sides. Maya clarified contractual language to prevent misunderstandings, and Leo ensured communication systems were compatible. The Varians listened carefully. Slowly, some of them began to nod. What humans were proposing was not only reasonable, it improved the original deal in ways the Varians had never considered. By evening, Lauren leaned back in his chair. Humans, he said slowly, you have exceeded our expectations. What began as a simple contract has evolved into something more comprehensive. Ethan smiled. We believe that is the best outcome. Both sides benefit and the deal is safer and more reliable. Clara added, this is how humans approach problems. We look at the details, we think ahead, and we try to improve what already exists, not to complicate things, but to make things better. The Varians were quiet for a moment. Then Rivon spoke. Your species is unlike any we have dealt with. You do not follow protocol blindly. You think, you adapt, you innovate. Ethan nodded. That is correct, and we hope this is the beginning of a partnership. Humans value trust and fairness, but we also value intelligence and creativity. That is what we bring to the table. As the humans left the chamber for the night, they could feel the change in atmosphere. The Varians were no longer dismissive. They were cautious, respectful, and curious. Humans had shown that they were not just participants in interstellar trade. They were innovators who could challenge assumptions and improve processes. Outside, the stars shone brightly. Ships glided silently through space, carrying goods, passengers, and secrets across the galaxy. Humanity had taken another step into the wider universe. They were clever, ethical, and unpredictable. They had turned a simple trade deal into a demonstration of ingenuity and fairness. Clara looked at Ethan. They didn't see us coming, but now they are starting to understand humans. Ethan nodded. And that is just the beginning. Tomorrow they will realize that thinking ahead is only part of what humans can do. We are about to show them something else, something they didn't expect. Maya smiled as she reviewed her notes. I like seeing them puzzled. It's a good sign. It means we're doing our job. Leo laughed softly. They won't forget humans anytime soon. We're making history one clause at a time. Ethan gazed at the stars above Nova City. History is waiting, and we are ready to meet it. The night passed quietly, but the air was charged with anticipation. Humanity had shown that they could not only think and plan, but also innovate in ways that surprised even the most disciplined alien species. The galaxy had taken notice, and humans were only getting started. The next morning, the human delegation returned to the Varian chamber. The room felt different now. The Varians were no longer confident. Their tall, silver-clad forms moved carefully, their eyes watching every human gesture. What had been a simple deal now carried tension, but it was tension the humans were ready for. Ethan Miller stepped forward first. Good morning. We've reviewed the updates from yesterday, and we have a few additional points to ensure clarity and fairness. Nothing complicated, just details that benefit both sides. Lauren Vela's thin fingers tapped on the table. Very well, proceed, but we expect no delays. The schedule is tight and the Varians value efficiency. Clara Hughes opened her tablet. The first point concerns delivery contingencies. We noticed that external factors, such as unexpected cosmic storms or system malfunctions, are not accounted for in the contract. We propose including protective clauses to prevent either side from being unfairly penalized. Rivon Terrell, one of the senior Varians, tilted his head. You are proposing changes that are unusual. Protocol does not require this. Why should we agree? Ethan spoke calmly. Because it prevents problems. We want a deal that works even when the unexpected happens. That protects everyone involved. The Varians exchanged quiet whispers. No species had ever asked for protections that went beyond standard protocol. Humans were not only clever but also careful. They thought ahead and anticipated problems before they appeared. Maya Brooks leaned forward. We also reviewed the dispute resolution clauses. They currently rely entirely on Varian interpretation. We suggest a joint council for arbitration, including human representatives. This ensures neutrality and fairness for future issues. Clara added, it also shows trust between our species. We are not trying to exploit loopholes. We want mutual respect in the agreement. Lauren's eyes narrowed slightly. Trust from humans, unusual, he paused, but perhaps reasonable. Ethan smiled. Trust is how humans operate. We value fairness and transparency. We want this deal to be strong, not fragile. The Varians attempted to regain control. They introduced stricter deadlines and new terms, hoping to pressure the humans into accepting their original framework. They expected the humans to panic. Instead, Ethan and Clara remained calm. Rushing will not help anyone, Ethan said. We prefer thorough work. Speed is important, yes, but accuracy and safety are more important. Clara nodded. We can meet deadlines without compromising security or fairness. That benefits both sides. The Varians looked surprised. Most species would have been intimidated or confused. Humans, however, were not only calm, they were strategic. Leo Carter, watching the Varian expressions, spoke softly to Maya. They're realizing we can handle pressure, and we don't flinch. Maya smiled. They won't underestimate humans again. Then Ethan presented a new idea. Regarding transport, we have a method that reduces energy consumption and travel time while maintaining safety. It requires minor adjustments to the route and schedule, but it will increase efficiency for both sides. Lauren frowned. Adjustments to a tested route. Humans, this is unnecessary. Protocol is precise. Ethan answered patiently. Protocols are precise, yes, but efficiency and safety can still improve. We are offering a solution, not a complaint. The Varians were silent. They had never considered that efficiency could be improved in a system that had been used for centuries. Humans were not just questioning, they were innovating. Maya added, "We also suggest adding a monitoring system that tracks energy fluctuations in real time. It alerts both sides if there are any issues, preventing disputes or damage." Rivantero looked impressed but tried not to show it. "You have thought of everything. This is unexpected." Ethan smiled. "We think ahead. That is how humans operate. We find problems before they happen, and we solve them in ways that help everyone." Hours passed as the humans presented more suggestions. Clara proposed additional safety protocols for loading the crystals, ensuring no human or Varian personnel would be at risk. Maya clarified legal language to prevent loopholes from causing future disputes. Leo suggested improvements to the communication protocols to avoid errors in reporting crystal energy levels. Each suggestion was simple, logical, and fair. None were attempts to gain unfair advantage. The Varians were forced to acknowledge the humans' competence. They had underestimated them, and now they could see the consequences. By mid-afternoon, Lauren leaned back in his chair. "Humans, your species is difficult to negotiate with, not in a hostile way, but unpredictable. You do not accept what is given. You challenge it. You improve it. This is new." Ethan nodded. "We do not challenge for the sake of challenge. We improve because we care about results. A better process benefits everyone. That is how humans work." Rivantero sighed softly. "Unpredictable, yes, but useful. Humans have potential. We did not expect this." Clara added, "Humans also value ethics. We do not exploit weaknesses. We do not deceive. Our goal is fairness, safety, and mutual benefit." Lauren studied the humans for a long moment. "Your species is remarkable. I had assumed you would accept the contract as written. Instead, you have expanded it. You have improved it. Perhaps we underestimated humans." Ethan smiled politely. "Perhaps, but we only do what we think is right. We think ahead, we plan carefully, and we act fairly. That is what humans bring to every negotiation." As the day went on, the humans continued to refine the deal. They suggested ways to monitor energy levels in real time, improve communication across species, and enhance the safety of transport. Each suggestion was simple, yet effective. By evening, Lauren spoke again, his tone softer than before. "Humans, the contract has changed. What began as a simple deal is now more comprehensive, more secure, and more efficient. We did not expect this. You have proven exceptional." Ethan nodded. "That is our goal. We do not seek to complicate matters. We seek to make them better. Both sides benefit from careful thought, and that is what humans provide." Clara looked at Lauren. "We also hope this shows that humans can be trusted partners. Not just in trade, but in cooperation across the galaxy. We think ahead, we act ethically, and we solve problems creatively. That is who we are." The Varians were quiet for a long moment. Then Rivantero said, "Humans, you are unlike any species we have met. You are careful, clever, and ethical. We must acknowledge your capabilities." Ethan smiled. "Thank you. We hope this is just the beginning of a long partnership." As the humans left the chamber that night, they felt a quiet satisfaction. They had taken a simple deal and transformed it into something far stronger. The Varians, once confident in their centuries-old protocols, now recognized that humans were not only capable but exceptional. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly across the sky. Ships glided silently through space, carrying cargo, passengers, and ideas. Humanity had proven that even in a galaxy filled with experienced species, humans could think differently, solve problems creatively, and act with fairness and intelligence. Clara looked at Ethan. "They thought the deal was simple. We've shown them it's more than that." Ethan nodded. "And they've realized humans are not easy to predict. That is the advantage we have." Maya smiled. "Tomorrow they will see even more. This is only the middle of the negotiation." "The best is yet to come," Leo laughed softly. "They won't forget humans anytime soon. We've made an impression." Ethan gazed at the stars above Nova City. "History is watching, and we are ready to meet it." The humans returned to their quarters, exhausted but satisfied. They had faced pressure, challenges, and unexpected tactics from the Varians. Yet they had remained calm, ethical, and clever. The galaxy was beginning to notice humanity, not as another species, but as a force capable of thinking differently, adapting quickly, and achieving extraordinary results. Tomorrow, they would finalize the deal. But tonight, they celebrated a small victory. Humans had shown that they were not just participants in interstellar trade. They were leaders, innovators, and problem solvers. And that realization had already changed the Varians' perception of humanity forever. The day had come. After weeks of preparation, the Orion Armada was ready. Every human ship, every pilot, and every engineer had a role to play. Commander Ethan Blake stood on the bridge of the horizon, watching the stars. Beyond them, the Xylar fleet appeared, larger and stronger than anything humanity had faced before. Lieutenant Clara Hayes checked the sensors again. "Commander, they've brought everything they have. They're confident, but we know their weaknesses. This is our chance." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Yes, Clara, this is the moment humanity proves what it can do. We've prepared for this. We fight smart, we fight together, and we show them they were wrong to underestimate us." Admiral Jason Clark's voice came over the comm. "All divisions hold formation. Remember your training. We strike as one and we strike hard. Today, humanity will make history." The Xylar ships moved forward, their energy weapons glowing ominously. Their commander had expected humans to cower or surrender, but instead they were met with a fleet ready for battle. It was larger than anything the Xylar had imagined, full of humans who were clever, courageous, and united. Ethan turned to his crew. "This is it. Stick to the plan. Use the asteroids, the debris, and every advantage we have. Be unpredictable. Strike where they are weakest." Clara piloted the horizon, weaving between asteroids, as smaller human fighters darted in and out to harass the enemy. Pilot Daniel Cooper led one squadron, performing daring maneuvers that the Xylar could not anticipate. His courage inspired every human ship nearby. On the ground, engineers like Lily Turner coordinated the redirection of energy shields, boosting the protection of the fleet's largest ships. Every move was calculated, every system optimized. Human ingenuity was the edge that the Xylar could not match. The first shots rang out. The Xylar fired energy beams that could slice through metal like paper, but the human fleet was ready. Shields held firm, and human ships dodged, weaved, and counterattacked. Small strike teams targeted weak points in the alien formation, causing confusion and breaking the cohesion of their fleet. Ethan piloted a strike team alongside Clara, approaching a key Xylar command ship. "We take them out, we disrupt their fleet," he said. "Clara, you take the lead. I'll follow." Clara nodded. "Roger that, Commander." They darted between asteroid fields, using the rocks for cover, and struck the command ship with precision. Energy beams tore through the Xylar defenses, causing the alien vessel to shudder and spin out of control. The Xylar fleet hesitated. For the first time, they were unsure. Meanwhile, Logan Pierce and his strike teams boarded smaller alien ships, using boarding pods to infiltrate and disable enemy systems. Daniel Cooper rammed a damaged fighter into another Xylar ship, destroying both, a risky move that paid off. The Xylar commander, observing from his flagship, could not understand how humans could fight with such courage and creativity. Across the battlefield, Ava Mitchell's predictive algorithms guided human ships, showing them the best paths to strike and avoid fire. "They can't anticipate us," she said, her voice calm but intense. "We are always one step ahead." Lily Turner, on a nearby station, monitored energy flows and shields. "Redirecting power to the front lines now," she said. "We'll give them the protection they need to finish this." As the battle raged on, humans fought not only with weapons but with brains. They used the asteroid fields to hide, lured the Xylar into traps, and turned every weakness into an advantage. The aliens were powerful, but they could not match human ingenuity, bravery, and coordination. Hours passed, and the battle intensified. The Xylar tried to regroup, but humans struck again and again. Ethan's strike team moved toward the central command fleet. "This ends now," he said. "We hit their center and we break them." Clara piloted the horizon through a hail of enemy fire, using every evasive maneuver they had practiced. Human fighters flanked them, striking Xylar ships from every angle. The Xylar were overwhelmed, their formations breaking apart under the relentless human assault. On the ground, Lily Turner coordinated energy bursts that disabled several alien ships at once. Her quick thinking saved human ships from destruction and allowed Ethan and Clara to focus on the main target. The Xylar commander finally realized the truth. These humans were not just fighters, they were clever, united, and fearless. "They adapt too quickly," he growled. "We cannot control them. They are dangerous." Ethan's team reached the core of the Xylar fleet. Missiles and energy beams struck the largest alien ships, and boarding teams sabotaged systems from the inside. The Xylar commander's flagship was hit with a concentrated barrage of human firepower. Smoke and sparks erupted across the vessel, and it spun helplessly in space. "Commander, we've done it," Clara said, her voice steady but filled with awe. "Their command ship is disabled." "The rest of the fleet is in disarray." Ethan smiled grimly. "Good, now we finish this, push them back, leave no doubt who rules this battle." Human ships advanced, striking the remaining Xylar vessels. Strike teams boarded ships, disabling weapons and engines. Turrets fired with precision, and fighters darted through the chaos. Every move showed human skill and courage, turning what seemed impossible into a clear victory. Finally, the Xylar fleet began to retreat. Ships fled in disarray, damaged and confused. The humans pursued only briefly, not to destroy every ship, but to make sure the aliens understood their defeat. On Aurora 5 and other colonies, civilians cheered as news spread of the humans' victory. Captain Logan Pierce returned to the stations, tired but proud. "We did it," he said simply. "We really did it." Lily Turner smiled, exhausted but elated. "We didn't just survive," she said. "We showed them what humans can do. They underestimated us, and that was their biggest mistake." Ethan Blake and Clara Hayes regrouped on the horizon. The battlefield was quiet now, except for the distant glow of retreating Xylar ships. "It's over for now," Ethan said. "But we've proven something important. Humanity is strong, clever, and united. We are not to be underestimated." Clara nodded. "We've shown them that courage, ingenuity, and teamwork are more powerful than raw technology alone." Admiral Clark's voice came over the comm. "All divisions report. Humanity has held the line. The Xylar have retreated. Today, we have proven the strength of our species." Ethan looked at the stars, knowing the war might not be fully over, but for now, humanity had won. "We've survived, we've fought, and we've shown the universe our true might. And next time, if they come, we'll be even stronger." Across the colonies, across every human settlement, the message was clear. Humans were clever, courageous, and united. Even the Xylar would not dare to underestimate them again. Children played in the parks of Aurora 5, miners returned to work, and engineers continued to strengthen defenses. Humanity had faced the impossible and had won. They had fought together, used every skill and idea at their disposal, and emerged victorious. Commander Ethan Blake, Lieutenant Clara Hayes, Captain Logan Pierce, Lily Turner, Daniel Cooper, Ava Mitchell, and every human in the Orion Armada had proven one thing. No matter the odds, no matter the enemy, humans would fight. And when humans fought, they would not just survive, they would triumph. The stars sparkled above, and the universe seemed a little different. The Xylar would never forget this battle. They had faced humans and learned that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most advanced technology. Ethan Blake stood on the horizon's bridge, looking at the distant planets and stars. "Humanity has grown stronger today," he said quietly. "And the galaxy will remember it. They underestimated us once, and they will never do it again." Clara Hayes placed a hand on his shoulder. "We've shown the universe our true strength, Commander, and the future is ours to shape." The Orion Armada returned to Earth and the colonies, damaged but victorious. Humans repaired what had been broken, celebrated what had been won, and prepared for the challenges that lay ahead. For the first time, the galaxy knew that humanity was not weak, not insignificant, and never to be underestimated. And far across the stars, the Xylar fleet retreated, humbled and wary. They had faced humans and learned a vital lesson. Humanity was clever, brave, and united. Humanity had risen, and their full might had been shown. The war was far from over, but one truth would echo through the universe forever. Humans could not be ignored, humans could not be defeated easily, and humans would always fight with courage and intelligence. Because humanity was unstoppable. The morning sun of Nova City's twin suns bathed the starport in a soft golden light. Ethan Miller adjusted his jacket and checked the data tablet one last time. Today was the final day of negotiations with the Varian League. After days of careful planning, review, and dialogue, humanity was ready to finalize the deal. Clara Hughes walked beside him, her tablet full of notes, adjustments, and suggestions. "Everything looks ready," she said, smiling. We've covered every angle. Now it's time to finish this. Ethan nodded. Yes, we've shown them what humans can do. Now they will see the results. Maya Brooks and Leo Carter joined them as they entered the negotiation chamber. The Varians were already seated, their tall forms rigid and formal, but the energy in the room was different. Respect had replaced the initial skepticism. The humans had proven their capability, and the Varians were cautious but attentive. Lauren Vela spoke first. Humans, today we finalize the contract. After your suggestions and adjustments, the terms have changed from our original draft. It is more complex, but perhaps better. Ethan stepped forward calmly. Our goal has never been to complicate matters. We wanted a fair, safe, and efficient agreement. We believe this version achieves that for both sides. Clara added, we've included safety protocols, communication standards, monitoring systems, and arbitration procedures. All of these measures are designed to prevent problems and ensure both sides benefit equally. Rivon Terrell, sitting beside Lauren, nodded slowly. Your species has thought far beyond what we expected. You do not follow protocol blindly. You improve it. Maya smiled. That is how humans operate. We learn fast, adapt, and find solutions. We care about fairness, safety, and long-term success. The Varians spent several hours reviewing the final contract. They asked questions, clarified terms, and confirmed adjustments. Ethan and Clara answered every question patiently. Whenever the Varians tried to pressure the humans with deadlines or stricter conditions, the humans remained calm and thoughtful. They suggested alternatives that protected both sides without creating conflict. At one point, Lauren leaned back in his chair and said quietly, humans, you are unlike any species we have encountered. You are clever, careful, and ethical. You think ahead and do not exploit weaknesses. This is remarkable. Ethan smiled politely. Thank you, Lauren. That is how humans work. We act responsibly and creatively. We plan for problems and solve them before they appear. That benefits everyone involved. Clara added, we also hope this is the beginning of a long-term partnership. Humans value cooperation and trust. This deal is only the first step in showing what our species can contribute to the galaxy. The Varians exchanged quiet looks. They had begun the process assuming humans would simply follow instructions. Instead, humans had improved the deal in ways no one had expected. Efficiency had increased, safety had improved, communication had been clarified, arbitration was fair. Both sides now stood to gain more than originally planned. After final deliberations, Lauren picked up a stylus and signed the contract. Then Ethan signed. Clara, Maya, and Leo followed. The deal was complete. A silence filled the room for a moment. Then Lauren spoke. Humans, this contract, it is unlike any we have finalized before. You have turned a simple transaction into a comprehensive agreement that benefits both sides. You have shown creativity, intelligence, and fairness. We respect your species. Ethan nodded. Thank you. We hope this sets a standard for future agreements. Humans aim to build trust, fairness, and long-term success in everything we do. Clara smiled. We want partnerships, not just deals. Cooperation, not just transactions. That is what humans value. Rivon Terrell added, it is clear now. The galaxy has underestimated humans. That will not happen again. You have demonstrated capabilities that few species possess. You are exceptional. The humans packed their belongings and prepared to leave the chamber. Outside, ships moved silently in the starport. Traders from other systems watched with curiosity. News of the humans' innovative approach to negotiation would spread quickly. As Ethan and Clara walked toward their ship, they reflected on what had happened. They expected a simple signature, Clara said. They did not expect humans to think, to plan, and to improve. Ethan nodded. That is humanity. We do not just follow instructions. We adapt, we solve problems, and we make things better. That is how we survive and thrive in the galaxy. Maya smiled. And now they know it. The Varians will think twice before underestimating humans again. Leo laughed softly. They won't forget this day, not ever. Humans left a mark on them. The humans boarded their starship, the first shipment of energy crystals secured safely under the systems they had designed. As they lifted off, Ethan gazed out at the stars. This is just the beginning, he said. The galaxy has met humans at our best, and it will not be the last time. Clara looked at him. The best part is that we did it ethically. No tricks, no shortcuts, just intelligence, creativity, and fairness. That is what makes humans different. Maya checked the navigation systems. The crystals are secure. The Varians will see that we deliver on our promises. That will build trust for future partnerships. Leo adjusted the communication interface. And future partners will hear about this. Humans think differently. Humans solve problems. Humans do not just follow rules, they improve them. That will change how the galaxy sees us. Ethan leaned back in his seat. They thought the deal was simple. We showed them it was more than that. And in the process, we've shown what humans can do. That is the lesson they will take with them. The ship left the starport and entered hyperspace. The twin suns of Nova City faded behind them, and the vast darkness of space stretched ahead. Humanity's first major trade deal had been completed, but more importantly, it had left an impression. The galaxy now knew humans were clever, adaptable, and ethical. Clara smiled at Ethan. "Do you think they'll underestimate us next time?" Ethan shook his head. "Not after today. They know humans are capable. They know we think ahead. They know we are unpredictable in ways that make us powerful." Maya added, "And that is the advantage humans have. We do not just accept what is given, we make it better, every time." Leo looked out the viewport at distant stars. "The galaxy just met humans at our best, and it will remember us." Ethan nodded. "Exactly. Today, we finalized a deal, but more than that, we showed the universe that humans are a species to be respected, trusted, and admired. That is what matters most." The ship glided through the endless stars, carrying not just crystals, but a message. Humans were clever, ethical, and capable of thinking in ways other species could not predict. A simple deal had become a demonstration of ingenuity and fairness. Humanity had left its mark on the galaxy, and that mark would be remembered for generations. As the crew looked forward to future missions, they felt pride and anticipation. This was only the beginning. Humanity had shown what it could do in its first major interaction with an advanced alien species. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but today had proven one thing. When humans acted, they did not just follow, they led, they improved, and they inspired. And somewhere across the galaxy, the Varians would remember this day forever.